Welcome back. The time right now is 8:43 and the red carpet is rolling out in the nation's capital as the Washington West Film Festival kicks off. This is so neat here. The big festival showcases powerful stories from across the globe. And one of this year's featured films dives into the life and legacy of Olympic legend Edwin Moses. So this morning we're joined live by the festival's founder, Brad Russell, and the champion himself, Edwin Moses. Thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with us this morning.
Good morning, Terry. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, good morning. So let's start with you, Brad. This event first kicked off back in 2011, and now it's one of the biggest film festivals in the nation. So talk to us about where this idea came from to bring this here to DC.
Well, it really started with the idea of trying to do something unifying here in our city that's often known for being divided. And so we do. We curate what we think are unifying films and stories that generate empathy where we can see ourselves in the character or the characters on screen. And then we in turn leave as an audience to go create good in the DC area, which is why we give all of our box office away. We think we're the only festival in the world that gives away 100% of our ticket sales to help at-risk communities. And that's what drives us. That's our passion.
I mean, that is just amazing to entertain, to also give back, to tell incredible stories. So let's talk about one of those stories. So Edwin, you're the subject of one of this year's films we'll be seeing this weekend, Moses, 13 Steps in Waves in War. So talk to us about this film, which follows your journey as an Olympic champion.
It's a very interesting film. It's a different type of documentary, and I've got some very, very interesting people involved with it. Morgan Freeman in Revelations is one of the executive producers. My colleagues from Morehouse, Samuel Jackson, Spike Lee, Lonnie Bunch from the African American Museum, Neil deGrasse Tyson, they're all assisting to help me tell my story that really started back in the 60s and goes through the 70s. And it includes film that 8mm film that my father took back when I was 7 years old, that they made look like it was filmed today and made to look old. But it tells a transitional story of 60s, 70s, my life, before hurdles, before running hurdles, at college, and things that happened in the Olympic movement in which I was involved with, like dealing with drug testing, fostering amateur sports, and the beginning of athletes being paid, and just talks about the life of a young kid that grew up looking like Urkel and became an Olympic champion and went to a school with no track, Morehouse College. So it's a transitional story and very, very interesting.
Wow, talk about adversity and overcoming challenges. I mean, it must feel so incredible to have so many big names, participating in a film about you and such an interesting story to tell.
Yeah, well, I didn't remember everything that happened. When I was running, I was out front and everyone was behind me, and my focus was on hurdles and the finish line. So I didn't remember a lot of the details about running, and I just thought that it was best to connect with people who went through different phases of my life that were there to be able to tell the story. Some of it which weren't even there, but they understood my story and wanted to weigh in. So it's very powerful in the way that the directors and the producers really combine what was happening then, archival footage, and the voices of people who had very similar and parallel experiences.
That's just amazing. So Brad, can you tell us real quick some of the other films we can expect to see this weekend, and then give us the details for this year's festival?
Yeah, we're really excited. Universal Pictures worked with us to be a screening location for the 30th anniversary of Apollo 13. Just recent NASA head, Senator Bill Nelson, will be with us to talk about why we're going back to the moon. We've got films all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and they can be found on our website, www.filmfest.com.
Wow, thank you both so much for joining us this morning. Incredible stories to tell, and all for a good cause. Brad Russell and Edwin Moses, thank you so much for taking the time with us this morning.
Thanks for having us.